Hello out there, all you wonderful people. This is Andre, the Game Idea Guy. Thank you once again for lending me your time and your ear and checking out another Connectivity video. I'm sorry the series got put on ice for a little while, but it's back. Having lost a lot of files on my files on my computer being crappy on me, and nothing I can really do about it. But I was able to get some of my stuff back, so I could continue different things that I already started, which is pretty good. I can't continue everything, but I can continue some of the things that I started already. Now, getting back into this, the game in question, the type of game that it would be. So, Friday the 13th, as a game, it's not like there haven't been Friday the 13th games that have come out, but this one in particular would be, it would kind of feel like a point and click type game, sort of like the Telltale game series. But I think this one it could still be a little bit unique to itself. Um, for example, you won't really be moving a character. A lot of the movement will be autonomous, and that's something with the same thing with the Telltale series of games. Um, you'll be making all of the decisions for the character. There'll be multiple different ways certain things can be handled, multiple different endings that you can get, and various paths that you can take depending on the situation you're in. So it would definitely be some replay value to the game, but it would be one consistent like story to start from. And I'll kind of explain the game as I come up with as I give you the baseline that I have for like the story. Now you are a staff member at a camp. Doesn't necessarily matter who you are. You don't have. You could be a counselor, a cook, uh, someone that does the cleanup, like a janitor. You could be any of those things. Well, that really doesn't matter to me. But you're a staff member at a camp for young adults, teenagers, basically, older teens, like 16, 17, the upper range. And at this particular camp, this is the same camp that Jason Voorhees is known to have killed people at and have died at himself. Um, more or less, you're in the same place. It's just been renamed again to kind of hide the history that it has. And there's a trail that is literally just blocked off. It hasn't been kept up or anything, so people don't go down it. And a group of teenagers, being nosy and being full of themselves, goes down there to kind of screw around because they could see that there was a cabin in the distance, like far off in the distance. And they take themselves down there. They start tinkering around with the place once they get there. And somehow they wake Jason up. I haven't thought of how they wake him up, but it's like they somehow wake him up. Right? He's been dormant for a while and hasn't been out. One of them gets away after the others get killed. And they see them get killed. They take off running, yelling and screaming bloody murder along the way, and they get back to the cabins. Like they get back to your set of cabins. This camp has expanded and gotten bigger, and there are multiple different cul-de-sacs of cabins, between 5 and 7 cabins per cul-de-sac. So you just happen to be in one that's at the back of the camp when this happens. That particular person gets back with Jason very close behind them. They're yelling and screaming. Other campers and staff members have come out in the open, and they see this person, the one that got away at first, cut down in cold blood right in front of them. Everyone else begins to panic, and people are getting slain left and right. You wake up, somehow having slept through most of that. Wake up and walk out of your room to find the camp being destroyed and people running around yelling and screaming. There are fires in different places. There's like sounds of people being attacked and hurt. And this is where the player would be the one to take control. You'll be given different options of places to go. Um, your first one of your first options would be to run down the trail to get to a neighboring cul-de-sac, which I would say immediately is not a good idea from the beginning. As you take off, Jason sees you, goes after you. That's it. Game over. Um, the best thing you could do is to survey the camp. But your choices would have to be done within 30 to 60 seconds. And I don't mean like the game plays out and then stops for you to do this. I mean everything is actively happening around you, and you only have a certain amount of time before Jason takes notice of you and comes after you. So, like that's where it can get kind of dangerous and it can be kind of worrisome. So, you'll have with each campsite there will definitely be like a tool shed or something there where you can get items like tools and medical supplies and stuff like that. There are different places where you can get items and things that you need. You can only carry like one item that can be used as a weapon and then one sub item. So if you find like a pitchfork and you want to carry that around as your weapon, you can, but you can't carry that in like a machete at the same time. Or not a machete or a hatchet at the same time. You can find bandages and take those with you, but you can't carry bandages and food. Like the limitation is what would kind of make it so that you have to think about what you're going to do and how hard it's going to be. Now you have to scour each campsite. When you get there, you have to look for different items that you can use to help you get along the way. If you don't, whenever you take off into the trails in the wooded area, Jason will get you and kill you because you have nothing to defend yourself with against him. And at this point, Jason is supernatural, so I don't think anybody going at him with bare hands would be a bright idea, even for someone who's highly trained. Like it wouldn't be a good idea. Uh, so once you find your item, you have to quickly find somewhere to hide, and this is where affecting your environment would come in handy. Say you walk into a cabin and there's like someone's trunk with clothes in it. You can walk up to the trunk, open it up, dump all the clothes out on the floor, and then you have the option of climbing in it to hide, or you can try to go somewhere else and hide. Again, for this example, jumping in the trunk is not the best idea because Jason is not stupid. He'll go in and start moving stuff around, and he'll notice the pile of clothes. Looking around, and he'll look at the trunk, open it up. You're gone. That's it. Game over. So, using that type of tool, you can use that to distract him and put something down where he'll notice it, and then he'll spend a little bit of time investigating that particular area, which will keep the heat off of you for longer. And Jason won't spend more than 45 to 60 seconds in a particular room because he's on a rampage. He wants to kill. He's out to do that. So he's not going to spend very long in one area looking for one person to cut down. That is just not what he's going to do for this game. And then you'll have to wait a little while to let him get some distance away from you. And you'll have to pay attention to time yourself. I won't let the game tell you exactly how long. I mean, it'll do a countdown for how long you have until he gets there, but it will not do a countdown for when it's safe to run. You'll have to pay attention to that yourself. And so you'll have to wait like 15-20 seconds before you try to make a move out of somewhere you were hiding after he has left to be able to get away. If you wait too long, he'll come back, and then he'll search other areas that he hasn't checked, which will leave you screwed if you stay in that one spot too long. So it'll make it interesting. Once he's gone, you get out. You have to take off for the trail. Once you feel secure enough to take off for the trail, do it. And whatever item you have is what you'll use to slow him down. Whether it stops him for a few moments or it just gives you give your character a few extra seconds of run time to get away from him. That's what you'll have to deal with. Nothing is going to actually stop him fully. It'll only slow him down. So that's another thing to keep in mind. It's not going to stop him. It's only going to slow him down. Just be reminded of that. And the whole objective of this game is to get out of the camp alive. That's the main objective of this game. Like I said, you start at the back of the camp where there is no exit from it and have to work your way up to get out. And depending on how well you perform and how many other people survive with you, because your choices affect what other campers can do. So if you take something that another person was going to take to protect themselves, they're going to die. Like, so you'll see certain characters, and you will run into other people who are trying to survive this massacre, and you'll see certain people depending on the items that you pick to take with you. And I think that would also be really interesting because that affects the story. That affects how many people, what people survive, and how long they survive for. Like, and I think that's an interesting dynamic to throw into a game. And I would also like to have Jason have like an evolving AI. The more he sees you do certain, like, as he sees certain things happen, and if he catches wind of you doing certain things, he'll be privy to it the next time he finds. He'll be privy to it the next time he comes into an area that you're in. Meaning, hey, if you move the clothes out of a out of a out of anything, a dresser or anything like drawers, and just leave them scattered about, he won't immediately check that area again if you do it right. If you do it enough times, he won't immediately check that area because he'll catch on and be like, okay, this is a distraction to keep me from searching around to find out where they really are. Not like he's going to say it, but you get what I mean. So you can be smart about it if you do it enough times. Like you find enough trunks with clothes in them, you dump all them clothes the hell out. One of those times, it would be the better idea to climb in there. Because he won't open it at this point. He'll be like, well, fuck it. Every time I open it, there's no one there. I don't know how many times to think that will go for. But there's not really a whole lot more I can say on it because the rest of it would just be building the story and building the world and the characters. And this is more or less just to give the concept of how it would work. So, if anybody else would be interested in throwing in some ideas that they think would be good for this, I'd love to hear them. Send them, put them down in the comments. I'm open to suggestion. Otherwise, thank you guys very much for listening. And my kids are doing something I have to go check on. Thank you guys very much for listening. Keep your eyes and ears up for more of my stuff. And until the next time, enjoy your games. Peace out.